Hello and welcome to Space Yoga Mission Control. My name is Colleen, and now that you've learnt to do some of your stretching, I'm going to tell you about some of the science behind what you've just done. I'm a scientist from the University of Exeter, and I'm trying to understand what happens to your muscles when you're in space. As you've just learnt from your space yoga instructor Gemma, when you are in space you do lose your muscles. And this is because of the weightlessness of microgravity, so there's no forces pulling you down. But how that happens, we don't know, and that's what we're going to try and find out. Scientists do a whole range of experiments to try and understand how and why you lose muscle mass during space. For example, we know that 1 year of spaceflight equates to about 40 years worth of aging. And it's these negative changes that happen that really prevent us from going into further spaceflight exploration, such as Mars and beyond. We know that you lose muscle mass during spaceflight because we are able to measure your muscle mass before and after spaceflight with either magnetic resonance imaging, otherwise known as MRI, or ultrasound. MRI is where you're using strong magnets and also radio waves to try and image the insides of your body. And ultrasound uses sound waves to also image the insides of your body, and actually you can do ultrasound during spaceflight. Another amazing thing is it's not just humans that actually lose muscle mass during spaceflight. We also know that this can happen to rodents and also tiny microscopic worms. And part of my research has actually involved sending tiny worms to space. So that's right, we have sent worms into space. Like humans, worms need food, oxygen, and a stable temperature to survive. We were then able to package them up in specialised bags that gave them everything that they needed during their spaceflight. We actually packaged up 36,000 worms, and on the 5th of December they were sent on board the SpaceX Dragon capsule to the International Space Station. When they arrived there, they were taken on board and put into the incubator at 20 degrees for 5 days. After this 5-day incubation period, they were then transferred to -80, which marked the end of our experiment, and it preserved the worms until they were sent back down to Earth. The worms were returned to us on board the Dragon capsule, and it landed in the Pacific Ocean on January the 13th. What we're hoping to do now is take these samples into the lab and start trying to understand the changes in the molecules within the muscle that have happened due to microgravity. And specifically, what we're really trying to do is look at the molecules that are contributing to muscle movement. Spaceflight is essentially an accelerated model of aging. So if we are able to understand the changes in the molecules due to microgravity, we can apply this directly to humans on Earth and try and understand the age-related loss of muscle mass. Spaceflight also induces similar changes to those seen in people that undergo prolonged periods of bed rest or physical inactivity. So again, if we are able to try and understand the molecular changes regulating these adaptations, we can apply this to people on Earth as well. Astronauts have to do a lot of exercise before spaceflight and during spaceflight to try and maintain a very strong body. When they're on the International Space Station, they do about 2 to 2.5 hours of exercise every single day. And that exercise might be cycling or weight resistance exercise. And for example, when Tim Peake was on the International Space Station, he actually ran the London Marathon from space. Despite this amount of exercise, when astronauts come back down to Earth, they still find it very challenging to walk and have to undergo quite intensive rehabilitation. What this tells us is that our exercise interventions while we're in space are still not good enough to try and prevent the muscle mass loss. Therefore, we really do need to do these types of experiments to try and understand the molecular changes within the muscle that are causing muscle decline. Remember, you can maintain your muscles and bones with simple standing exercises that you learnt from your Space Yoga Mission 1 video, and you'll need them for your trip to space. Thank you very much for joining me at Mission Control, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your space yoga videos.